Do you know what time it is?
Oh no. What time is it?
It's movie time! That's when you're supposed to do the drums.
You realize we started with a song and
and then it goes like shred guitar for like 5 minutes.
It's fine. That was art.
I don't know. That sounds more like a flute. Or a piccolo or something.
Right.
Do you remember when things started with shredding guitar and it was amazing? Do you remember the 90s?
Of course I do.
Man, I feel like the 90s is just coming back.
Really? Do you?
Yes. I feel like the 90s are back in vogue.
Why?
Okay, well, we have a new Ninja Turtles movie coming out this summer.
Apart from Girl Meets World, we're not including that.
We have Girl Meets World coming back. We have a new Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie coming.
Oh, yeah, we're going to talk about that later.
Yeah, the 90s are totally coming back.
That's 90s shows. That's not really the 90s.
No, we're not going back in time, you idiot. But things from the 90s are becoming awesome again.
Oh my god.
And I love it.
I think the things from the 90s have always been awesome. Case in point, Space Jam.
There's a Space Jam sequel might be coming out.
No, that's
Gremlins 2 or a
God.
Gremlins reboot. That's more 80s, I guess.
That is 80s, yeah, I was going to say.
Doesn't matter. The past is here and the queer and it's here to stay.
What are we even doing? Oh my, how was your week?
It doesn't matter. It was in the past, and I'm past it. You know, it's on the fence, and I'm over it. You know.
Wow. Okay. Cool.
No, my week was pretty good. It was kind of crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
Go on.
Well, it's finals,
right?
So I had that, which was fun. Yeah, I had a stats final yesterday, which was 3 hours of SPSS.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah, it was all right. I thought it was pretty easy, just time consuming.
Right.
And then I went to the YuGiOh regionals.
Ooh, and how was that?
It was a lot of fun. I met a lot of really, really nice people.
Nice.
Yeah, I made some friends. I had some incredible deals.
Really?
Incredible deals. Yeah, I got 2 cards for about $30, and they're worth about $30 each. So
nice.
I got some amazing trades, and I was one win away from going to Worlds. So
seriously?
Yeah.
You got second place.
No, it's top 64 players
okay.
Go to Worlds. But they were saying that if you only lost 3 times, it was 9 rounds of duels, which is 9 hours total of just dueling. Which, holy shit, let me tell you, that's a lot of fucking dueling. I'm sorry for the cursing. I woke up at 6. We got there by 8:30. We didn't leave until 10:30.
Wow, that is intense.
Yeah. Yeah, so it goes off your record and then where you lost and won. So since I won my first round, lost my second, lost the next round, and then I won 3 in a row, and then lost, and then won the next one. So my record was okay. I probably would have been really close to top 64. I definitely broke top 100.
Very nice. And what about Cynic?
He did a little worse than me, but he was playing...
Consellers.
No, he played Black Wings.
Oh,
which was a deck he literally made like the day before. So...
Right.
He did okay. Though, what I did learn was that the bus that we take to get there in the morning doesn't run at night.
How did you get back?
The subway, which took us to the middle of the ghetto. I was terrified.
It's okay. You're Mexican. It's fine.
No, it doesn't matter. I still reflect light. Like, it doesn't... like, where we were was really rough. Like, it was the projects. When a McDonald's is considered a safe haven, you know you're in trouble.
Fair enough. Yeah, I can see
Okay?
That. Yeah.
I found a kid on the street corner alone. It's like 11 o'clock at night. This kid just standing on the street corner, alone. You know what he was doing?
What?
He was peeing on the wall.
Nice.
And I was terrified.
You were like, that kid can beat me up.
Yeah, well, I was like, it just tells you how rough this town is, man. There are parts of Philly I don't want to be in, and that was one of them. I don't even like going there during the day. So. What else did I do? I bought an engagement ring.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's really pretty.
So how's your fake engagement going, where she knows everything?
It's not fake. I'd rather us know everything instead of springing it upon her and being like, hey, guess what? Your life is changing.
Oh, come on. What?
Yeah, man. I would rather talk about it and just. That's how it's supposed to be. Welcome to the 21st century.
21st century, 20.
What are you gonna do with the girl? You gonna like invite her over for the summer and then just randomly spring like an engagement upon her? That's not cool, man. You don't do that. You shouldn't do that. That's how shit happens.
Hmm.
People assume that you got her knocked up or something because people don't do that anymore. You know, you
What do
put
you,
a baby in her, so
what?
you had to put a ring on it,
No.
and then
No.
you had a child way too young, and then your entire life sucks.
I feel like this is either the plot of a movie or you are digging up just really deep past experiences.
No, not really. It's kind of lame on both ends, isn't it?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had nightmares.
Oh.
Which I think would lead to an awesome story.
Okay.
But I'm not going to tell you because I think you'll steal my story.
What?
So I'm not
Why
gonna...
why will I steal you? Usually the stuff that I work on, you work on as well.
Yeah, I know. I know we kind of partner up, but these are ambitious, man. And I don't know what I want to do with it yet.
What? So you're
keep it bottled up inside.
So what you're saying is you're not going to say it on the podcast, but you'll tell me later.
Maybe.
Oh, come on.
Maybe. Anyway, a new Pokemon game got announced.
Right, the 3DS versions of Ruby and Sapphire, right?
I know, exactly. Also, Smash Brothers is coming out. Oh my god. You need to get a 3DS, bro.
Is that this summer?
Yeah, the Smash Brothers for 3DS comes out this summer.
That's awesome.
Dude, and they have a mode similar. Do you ever play Kirby Air Ride?
No, I did not.
What?
I don't own consoles or like portable gaming stuff. You know this.
Dude, Kirby Air Ride was from. It's a GameCube game.
Really? I never heard of it.
Yeah, you're Kirby and you ride on stars, and it was like racing, but they had a mode called Adventure Mode where you just like explore the city and you had to look for power ups. And then once you get all the power ups, then you like can race your friends or whatever. But they're bringing that type of aspect to Smash Brothers. So now there's a 5-minute round where you have to like go into this maze and find power ups, and then you get dumped into a battle.
Wow.
So
really?
I'm pumped. Yeah, I'm really excited for that.
That's a really cool game.
I have a summer job just to afford well rent and video games.
Wait, you're gonna be? I thought you were gonna be in Colorado.
I will. I got a job in Colorado.
Oh, really? What are you gonna be working as?
Hopefully a preschool teacher again.
Oh, nice. You and children, you just love them so much.
I do love children a lot. Why do you say it sarcastically?
What? I wasn't saying anything.
Okay. Well, anyway.
Did you know Palo Alto's coming out? Yeah. Anyway, what's up? What?
Coming out?
What? Nothing.
What?
Palo Alto, that movie about James Franco getting with a really young girl. Anyway, it was relevant. Go on.
Breakers 2?
Precisely.
Okay. That's coming out, by the way.
Oh, that's gross.
I know, right? Okay. When did news become the first section, cool guy? You're letting this podcast get derailed.
I am.
Oh,
I am.
The
We
worst.
should talk about my week.
How's your week?
My week was no, I did not. My week was.
Did you want to get engaged?
No. Question mark. I mean, I don't know. No. You know,
Right.
my right hand can. I think I'm just gonna let. Oh, she's right here. Good job. You spoiled everything.
Wouldn't it be awkward because you usually put the ring on your left hand?
Well, yeah, but my right hand has a left hand.
How does your right hand have a left hand?
Don't worry about it. We're getting way too complicated with just a stupid joke.
Handception.
Oh my god. That joke is literally 7 years old. We can stop now. We can stop.
I know. I know.
Okay. Anyway, my week was freaking awesome. And I will tell you why. Number one, it really was.
Are you gonna turn into? You're like turning into John Green as we speak. So let me tell you now, Hank. It's been an amazing week, and I'm gonna start with number one, okay? And then it cuts to you from the side. Number one. Okay,
I need to like grab my hair and pull it up with every phrase and thing that I say. But actually, it's funny that you mentioned John Green because I forgot to say last week that I had finished The Fault in Our Stars.
Oh, about time. Isn't it sad? Oh.
It is sad. It is sad. Oh. Though, like, the writing and stuff...
Don't ruin it, though. Don't ruin it.
I won't. The writing and all that jazz, it works really well in the novel. It really does. The way it's written is very good. But I maintain that the way it translates onto the screen, seeing people actually say it, does not work.
Yeah, it'll be really weird because it's like John Green is like almost possessing the characters and having them have this enlightened sentence for like a little bit, and then it goes back to normal dialogue, which works. But I think that'll be weird in the movie. Also, what did you think of the author aspect of that? That was like the one part of the book I didn't like.
You mean the dude being the author of the I forgot that random book.
Yeah, the one that the main woman character girl likes. I didn't like that part. Like, I don't mind them going visiting, but the part that he comes to visit her was just weird and totally out of place. And
It
I'm
did
sure there's
seem
meaning behind
yeah.
it, but I didn't.
It did seem weird and out of character. It did.
Yeah. Anyway,
I think it was
cool.
it was a Deus Ex Machina thing. It was trying to wrap up that loose end because it was a loose end that was kind of like unfulfilled. And also it was trying to give Augustus the last word, I think.
Maybe.
And the only way to do that was through writing, and who is the writer, that guy, you know? Like, she couldn't have just found one of his letters. That wouldn't have been too fulfilling, I guess. So.
Yeah. Are you gonna go see Hank Green in concert?
No, I'm not, because
why?
I got an email from my university saying that I have training and stuff from the 1st of July to the 17th. So.
Whoa! So you won't even be going to our friend's wedding?
Yeah, I can't go to his wedding either.
That sucks.
Yeah.
You want to Skype in?
Skype into the wedding? My God.
I could, if you really wanted to. I could FaceTime you.
Don't you need Wi-Fi for that?
No, you don't need Wi-Fi to FaceTime anymore, bro.
Really? Wow.
21st century, asshole.
21st century. Thanks.
Welcome. Yeah, but actually, I can totally do that for you if you'd like, at least for a little bit of it.
Actually, that'd be pretty interesting, yeah. Just for the main part, like the things that you see in movies where they say, "Do you take this person?" and they say, "I do," and then they kiss, and that's the only part of the wedding you
And then they explode?
I hope that doesn't happen, but yes.
No, me either, but yeah, that'd be... Imagine that. I do. You may now kiss the... Oh, shit. Okay. I'm pretty cynical about weddings. It's kind of weird that I want one.
How come? Why are you cynical about weddings?
I don't know. I'm cynical about this type of relationships anyway, but...
That's true. Yeah.
Because the reason I'm getting married is not... I do love my girlfriend / almost fiance, but it's like more of the fact that we're like really good friends and we support one another, not some kind of like passion, you know?
Ha! Gay!
Shut up. That's so inappropriate.
Yeah, that also works into my week as well. So.
Oh, what? What? Gay?
No.
This week?
No,
cool guy.
The actual
cool guy.
The actual phrase. Anyway, point is, I finished The Fault in Our Stars, and then I went to go work in the rainforest, and when I got there, my master's student person that I'm working with, she was like, by the way, there's a symposium where we're presenting the data that we've been collecting, the one that I'm recording the calls in the other rainforest.
Yep.
She was like, we're presenting the preliminary data in a symposium. Do you want to go? And I was like, sure. So we went over to a symposium where they were presenting data. And
can I just mention half that sentence could have been cut out? You could have just... So I met up with this like girl, and she was like, "Yo, you did some data," and you're like, "Yeah." And then like she was like, "Yo, you want to come to this thing?" And you're like, "Yeah." Well, that's cool because you're invited to this thing. Really? Yeah, dude. Just say you met up with her. She invited you to the symposium, and now you're at the... Oh my god.
You realize that
I know
the length it took for you to say it was my length?
Yeah, I know.
So now we have a communal, like, 2 minutes of just roundabout statements.
I know.
About this, and right now we're talking about it, so we're getting very meta about this stupid discussion.
All right, you're at the symposium.
So anyway, we went to a symposium. It was a lot of fun. I talked to a professor whose goal, like his life goal, is to sequence the genome of every endemic species in Puerto Rico, like Human Genome Project style, but for every endemic species of Puerto Rico.
What does endemic mean?
Endemic means that it's only in that place and that place alone.
Got it.
And basically, since I'm going to be working with phylogenetics, this guy's like really big into genetics, and they had a phylogenetics presentation there. So I went and talked to him thinking, this guy has a lot of funding. Maybe if I talk to him and I convince him, like, I can knock out all of these endemic species in one go by working with this guy, I will get funding. So maybe I will get funding.
Oh, so this actually happened then?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, okay.
What? What do you mean?
Well, you said if I talk to this guy,
No, yeah.
then all of a sudden it changed to I already talked to this guy.
No, I was saying if I talked to this guy like in my head and then I went and talked with him. So like that was my logic for going to talk to him.
I don't know how you can spend extra information on learning how to get to the symposium, but the important part is completely absent. Oh, it's like at the writing center all over again. Anyway.
But yeah, anyway, apart from that, then I started watching Community.
Oh, it's a great show.
And well, not
Great
started,
show.
continued watching Community. And I feel
I
like
haven't watched the new season yet.
right now I am into the 3rd season, so I'm pretty ahead. And I feel like I can finally make a informed opinion on the subject. And Community is freaking awesome. I really, really enjoy it. And it is so deliciously meta. Because you can do meta wrong and you can do it stupidly, but this show does it so good.
Oh, it's so good.
It does it so good.
Oh, it's what Dan Harmon really does well from watching that and Rick and Morty.
Right.
So
yeah. But the only problem is that now going into the 3rd season, I've seen like 5 episodes or something like that. I've noticed a generalization of the humor to normal sitcom-ish humor where the characters just try and be a lot more quippy and say a lot more. It's basically the characters just going like bazinga over and over and over again.
Well,
is that
Dan
like...
Harmon left for the 3rd season?
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Then he came back, I think, either at the halfway mark or for season 4.
Okay.
So,
well, that makes
probably,
sense.
Yeah, I thought season 3 kind of dragged on. I didn't find it that great. But...
except for the Chaos Theory episode, which was fantastic.
Yeah, that episode was pretty great.
Yeah, that was such a great idea. But anyway, that also leads to the main crux awesome thing that I did this week, which is also coincidentally way nerdier than anything you've ever done. And every single week you've basically saying you've played Yu-Gi-Oh!
It's not that nerdy, man. It's bigger than poker at this point.
Well, no, I doubt that. I very much doubt that.
Nope, it's bigger than poker. Mostly because it's a worldwide activity. Like when poker's really just big in the US, you know?
Yeah, fair enough, I guess. So. All right, well, anyway.
Okay.
Mr. Cognitive Gamer, you remember how I used to play D&D in the latter half of my college career?
Dunkin' and Donuts, yes.
Yes, exactly. So basically, I'm going to try and give everyone a bit of a background on what happened. So D&D is obviously Dunkin' and Donuts or Dungeons and Dragons. And I got into playing Dungeons and Dragons like it was on my bucket list of things to do since I'd heard so much about it but never played it. And I started playing it maybe like in my 3rd year. I would say, yeah, it was my 3rd year. And
I get it. You play D&D.
No. I got to tell you that my character in this time around because it's important. So I was this character that was basically pulling the strings of everyone in the group, me and my former roommate. We were basically pulling the strings of everyone in the group, and they didn't know about it. And we made them do a lot of evil things by convincing them that it was good or whatnot, or that the people were bad. And then at the end, when we were about to leave, this is when we were graduating, so this is a year ago, we basically turned on them in the final game and almost killed them, except for the fact that the dungeon master had come up with a clever way to get them out of the situation. So like by the time that we were almost done with them, there were 2 people sinking into lava. There was one person like petrified, and there was somebody else just like running around going like trying to get away from us. And at that point, the dungeon master, who was also playing another character, decided that it would be great if he would just make a little square where anyone that if it was within line of sight of the square, you could teleport there. So everyone got out of everything they were doing. They all ganged up and they managed to defeat us. But
that's not clever. That's stupid.
No. It was a power. It was a power he had. It was completely fair. But at the same time, it was like, oh, come on. You know, like we had them. We had them. It was a typical bad guy thing. The tables turned on us, and then we basically got, I think, my roommate got knocked out, so he was on the ground, and at that point, I activated Plan B, which would have teleported us elsewhere. So our characters survived, and basically, this guy the DM, the dungeon master, has been using our characters to annoy the team as they moved into like epic tier, which is all the way up to level 30, which is very powerful or whatnot.
I have no idea, man. I have no idea.
And he's been using like our characters to annoy them. So what happened was he contacted us and he was like, so for the final battle, do you guys want to fight these guys? So we've been working with him to actually join for the actual final battle when all of them are graduating. So this Sunday we Skyped in, me and my old roommate, we Skyped in and we played Dungeons and Dragons, me from here, him from California, playing in Colorado. So that was a lot of fun. And again, we almost beat them. Almost to the point where the team was 5 people. It was a 5-person group, and we killed 3 of them. It was awful, though, because, again, it came down to... This time, though, it wasn't the DM planning something. It was just sheer luck. Because I'll tell you what happened. So it was awful. It was...
I cast magic missile. What are you going to cast it on? There's no target. It's just darkness. It's just lightning bolt.
If no one's seen that
Silver
video,
shield on my body. You can't pierce it unless you have a level 18 elvish blade.
So anyway, the point is...
I rolled a critical miss. Oh, man, my mom's going to be so angry when I get back home.
It is not a critical miss. It is a nat 1. Anyway, so...
Oh, you would know.
I would know.
You would know.
I would know.
Would know.
But anyway, the point is, so the way that it happened was it was a really, really intense fight because right out of the gate they were all like either stunned or dazed, so they all couldn't do almost anything, and we were just demolishing them. But by this point they were getting kind of desperate because they had used up all of their reserves, everything. And basically they had this genie that was able to grant them wishes, and
that doesn't sound fair at all.
And, well, they had 3 wishes, but obviously they had limits to the wishes and whatnot. It's a typical genie thing. But they...
I wish I had a girlfriend. Oh.
Oh. But anyway. So they basically... They had to stop the actual game. They paused and they like covered the webcams and muted the microphones because they were talking to the DM because they were, kind of scared that they were going to lose. And they were trying to figure out how they could use their last wish to kill us. And basically, when they came back, it was like 10, 15 minutes of them discussing what they were going to do. And after they got back, they were like, okay, we're going to do this wish. And the wish was, okay, Genie decapitates 8 random people in the vicinity. And basically,
why?
Because they were hoping that would make their job easier, because I was a 5-headed Balrog type of dragon. I had like 5 turns per round, which was destructive. And then my old roommate was a purple dragon that could split up into a total of 3 purple dragons. So basically, between me and him, there were 8 people. Not really, but there were 8 people. And then there was one more bad guy, but he basically didn't do anything. And they basically said, okay, decapitate 8 random people here. And at that point we were like, oh god, because it had the capability of decapitating everyone on their side or everyone on our side or mostly us or mostly them, since it was completely random. So the DM made a little thing on Excel, which was basically a random number generator that would pop out values for everyone.
Yep.
And he used the order that we went in.
Right.
And he used the random number generator, and you know what happened?
What?
I lost 3 of my heads, meaning I had only 2 heads left. My old roommate got all 3 of his monsters killed, so like he died, okay? If you're keeping count, that is 6. That is 6 of the decapitated heads were us, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then the 2 other ones were one of the dragons that they had like asked to help them, who wasn't even in their group. And then the other one was one of them. It was the worst possible thing to happen, as opposed to like the only worst thing that could have happened was if we would have all gotten decapitated and they would have won. That was basically it. So I was pissed. I was like, no. I felt like a bad guy. in a movie, I was like, no. And
the stupid genie. It's like the worst cop out ever.
I mean, in all fairness, it is a pretty fair way to do it, considering the fact that there were 13 heads, so 8 is just
but that
above.
doesn't require wit or anything. It was just kind of like, yo, genie,
it is.
We got this.
But the point is, it was insane. But after that, I basically had to fight everyone by myself, like the last 3 people, and I managed to kill one of them. And the other one I brought down to 0, but he bounced back up. I brought him down to 0 like 3 times or 5 times in this entire thing, but he kept on bouncing from 0 up, and it was awful. It was just, I was so close. But alas,
a lot of Phoenix Downs.
We lost. But it was cool. It was a really crazy game, and it lasted what, 6 hours probably? Something like that.
Just like this conversation. Let's move on to the movies.
No, actually, the only thing that I wanted to say was that then I reached, after I played that, I reached the D&D episode of Community, and that was a really good episode.
Yeah, it was good.
The reason why I really liked it is because, you have 2 types of nerd humor, which is making fun of it like The Big Bang Theory does, where their D&D episode was just attacking D&D basically.
Right.
And then you have the community style episode where you realize that, it's people trying to find their identity and people putting hard work into things, and at the same time, getting bullied for something that they like. Something
right.
that initially from the outside might seem really nerdy, but as soon as you start, I guess, involving yourself in it with friends, which is the important thing, you realize that it does foster a community. So it's a really interesting way to put it, and it was a really fun episode, and it was really nice. Although, admittedly, it was more role-playing than typical D&D. But it was a great, fantastic episode. I really enjoyed it. It does make you see, I guess, the differences between certain shows and others' treatment of certain subject matter.
Well, I just don't like The Big Bang Theory. So.
It's all right. It started off better, but it's gotten whatever. All right, but anyway, point is, I watch movies.
Speaking of nerd things, the movie of the week is Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Exactly.
Which has an IMDb rating of
7.5.
And a Rotten Tomatoes score of
55 with a 36 top critics score.
It is starring...
No, it's got a Metacritic score of 53%. It is directed by Mark Webb. It stars Andrew Garfield, Emma Stone, Jamie Foxx, Dane DeHaan, and a bunch of other people. So, give me your 1-sentence review.
Amazingly good to look at, not amazing to watch, if that makes any sense.
Really? Okay.
I didn't like it.
Mine is way better than I was anticipating.
Where was your bar though?
My bar was from the other movie, which I thought was not very good at all.
Yeah, I didn't like it either. That was pretty mediocre.
Just to get it out of the way, I think that the scores on Rotten Tomatoes for this movie and the first one should be switched. I do not think that this movie, just to get it right out there, I definitely do not think that this movie deserves a 55 with a 36 top critic score. No way. I think that this movie was way better than the first one. And the first one's like at a 70 something, isn't it?
No, I doubt it.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, the first one is at a 73%. With a 78 top critic score.
I don't agree with that one either.
Exactly. I think that these should be switched, because the second one is way better than the first one.
I felt like it was a little bloated.
Really? I thought that it worked really well with the assets that it had. And I'll explain myself. So, you remember how in Spider-Man 3 it got overblown with all of the characters that were being added, right?
Right.
And Sam Raimi initially fought the idea of having that amount of characters in the story because he thought it would get bloated, which it did. But the producers were saying you got to add more characters. But I think that this story really handled the amount of character building and world building very, very well.
Well, Paul Giamatti was kind of in the background.
Well, yeah. I mean, the point wasn't Paul Giamatti. The point was that you had 3 bad guys, but what I loved was the fact that while everything was happening with Electro, all of his basically conditioning and all that jazz to make him just go crazy. You had Harry Osborn, who was going to become the Green Goblin, obviously. You had him in the back.
Hobgoblin.
Sorry,
Well,
yeah, right. The
but I
Hobgoblin.
think in this, he turns into the Green Goblin in this one, though, right?
It seemed like he turned into the Green Goblin, yeah. But
Yeah.
we'll see, because he was never called anything. But basically what I saw was that while everything was going on with Electro, they did not ignore the fact that Harry Osborn existed and was moving around and was talking to people and was doing things apart from it while not being a villain. They did that very, very well. He was an integral part of the storyline, even though he was not a villain yet.
Right.
Which was really well done. And Paul Giamatti was basically a reference in the end to the fact that they're bringing together all of these bad guys, or that at least that Harry Osborn is bringing together all the bad guys. And it worked really well because you had 3 bad guys, technically speaking, but they only appeared at key parts and didn't necessarily completely overlap.
Right.
Which was great.
Well, the Battle of Electro was pretty sweet.
Oh, yeah, it definitely was.
I thought falling into a vat of electric eels was really lame.
Oh, well, of course it was. That was totally lame. But again, remember that was the mutated animals division or whatever. So I guess that kind of excuses it.
Stupid.
Okay.
So
Okay,
stupid.
let's talk about Electro for a second.
Jamie Foxx.
Yeah, that was not very good.
I blame it on the electric eels. Blame it on the Henny. Blame it on the Grey Goose. Got me feeling dizzy. Blame it on. Okay.
I'm talking about like Electro's not the origin story, but just I don't know. His acting didn't seem to par, I guess.
Yeah, because the movie was trying to be like, you should be sympathetic for this character, but he just came across as like the worst person ever.
Right. Yeah. They started making it honestly like it felt like they were trying to go for Spider-Man 2 with Doc Ock.
Totally. Yeah.
And then it didn't work because Doc Ock was such a good bad guy.
Yeah.
That second movie was so good. And they just could not do that. They could not do that.
Because you feel bad for Doc Ock. You generally like.
Exactly.
His story is so bittersweet, and Electro's is, oh, this bite hurt. Oh shit, I'm made out of lightning. Oh, I'm gonna destroy the city.
Exactly.
So,
yep.
You can't do, and then trying to like implement things you should feel bad for him about just felt a little flat and didn't work. And then Spider-Man kicked the crap out of him. So
I completely see where you're coming from because that's the exact same thing that I was thinking. I was thinking that they were trying to make him relatable. And in the beginning, Electro worked. Like what they were trying to do worked. And I'll explain. In the beginning, when you were seeing him getting ignored by everyone and getting pushed around and him just being a generally awkward type of person, or them abusing him and whatnot, it worked. It really did work. But then afterwards, you got jaded. I mean, you got used to his complaining and you were kind of put off by it,
Right.
It was just one of those things that I guess didn't work out to the full potential of the actual character. However, I do think that the thing that worked out fantastically in this story was the love story between Peter and Gwen.
Yeah, those are like some of the best moments.
It felt
you remind me of sand.
It felt so honest. Like it really did. The way that they interacted, they had fantastic chemistry.
I agree. I completely agree.
You're welcome, everybody. I just cut out a section where he had a huge spoiler. So now we will say spoilers, right, Cognitive Gamer? Like you promised everyone 2 podcasts ago?
Right. Spoilers. Too bad Gwen gets a sex change.
What? That is totally not what happened.
No, she falls into a vat of radioactive penises. Gwen turns into George. You would have guessed.
Oh my god.
Crazy. Crazy. Can't wait for the 3rd movie. Rise. The Erection. Amazing Spider-Man 3. The Erection of Spider-Man.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Spider-Erection. So, okay.
He's tingling my spider senses.
Oh my god. Let's talk about that death scene. What did you think of it?
It was pretty sad.
I thought it was
kind of out of nowhere.
It was amazing. It was so well done. the tension of it all and the way that it was framed, the way that, you had the shot of her just hanging from the spider thread when she hit the ground. It was spine tingling. It was one of the few death scenes in modern cinema that I've actually felt for. Because it's hard to see characters dying and it's like, and they die and you're like, oh, well, the character died. And then either they're going to stay dead or they're going to come back to life. And then, like, if they stay dead, you're like, oh, well, if they come back to life, you're like, I knew it, That's how you feel. But in this one, you genuinely didn't know if she was going to come back.
Right.
In this one, you were sitting in the theater and he was saying, like, please come back or something. And you saw that she was kind of fluttering her eyes and moving. And then all of a sudden, just blood came out her nose and she just went limp. And you're like, oh my God, this is the worst thing ever. It was one of those things where they sort of upended the way that people die because, people typically when they die, they get some last words or they manage to look at the person before they die or something. Nothing like this happened. It felt so gritty and so real, and it was awful and fantastic.
I mean, the scene where he's at her grave really, really made sure that you know that she's dead.
I know, yeah.
So.
And that was also a wonderful, wonderful metaphor where for all of the shots where he went through the seasons up until the last one, excluding the last one. All of those shots had him behind, like you saw Emma Watson's. You saw Gwen's tombstone, and you saw him standing, but in front of him, closer to the camera, was another tombstone, and it was the metaphor of like, you're going to die too, basically, or you're going to die inside. This is who you are. You are a shell of a person staying here looking at her. And then
I thought it was the metaphor of this is your second death because his uncle died and the cop died.
Well, yeah. No.
So it's like the numbers of bodies are definitely piling up.
Yeah. No, it's definitely it was all of those, and then it was solidified in the final shot when you had him in front of the actual grave, but instead of the tombstone being in front of him, he was in front of the tombstone, meaning he had let himself die, which was wonderful.
I thought that was him deciding that he won't let anybody else die.
No, not yet. At that point, he had given up being Spider-Man, and at that point,
that's why he won't let anybody die, because he thought people were dying because he was Spider-Man.
Well, yes, but it was a two-pronged sword kind of thing. It was one of those things where he basically gave up being Spider-Man because he thought that more people were going to die. He died inside, like he himself was officially dead, and Spider-Man was dead as well.
It just looked cool.
It was everything.
Yeah.
And it was it was so good. That entire sequence was so good, and that battle with the Green Goblin, all helter-skelter and stuff like that, because they really gave him an excuse to hate him. Because I feel that if Gwen would not have died, Peter would have still had the feeling inside him that he could just go up to the Green or Hobgoblin and go, come on, man, we used to be best friends,
Right.
Like, he could have still done that and been like, come on, dude, stop it. Come to the good side. But now that he killed Gwen, there's really no going back. Spider-Man is going to have feelings and a vendetta and all that against him. There's no way.
Yeah, hopefully the third movie's pretty good.
Honestly, I'm going against all of the critics and I'm going against everybody, but this movie really impressed me and I liked it way better than I thought I would, and I do think that it's a generally good movie. And like I said, I think the score should be switched with the previous movie, meaning high 70s or maybe even an 80%. That is how good I think it is.
I'd give it about a 60.
Really?
Yeah.
I
almost fell asleep.
What?
Yeah.
What?
I know.
Why? When were you watching it?
Well, it was finals weekend too.
Oh.
So,
Yeah.
And that definitely could play a part into it, right? I love Paul Giamatti though.
That's true. Yeah.
All right, let's move into the Netflix movie.
Spotlight, totally not sponsored by Netflix.
Yeah.
There you go. We watched The Family.
Ugh.
On IMDb, it's got a 6.4. On Rotten Tomatoes, it's got a 29 with, get this, a 29 top critic score. Match. And on Metacritic, it's got a 42%. It is directed by Luc Besson. It stars Robert De Niro, Michelle Pfeiffer, Diana Agron, John DeLeo, and Tommy Lee Jones, among others. So give
Tommy
me
Lee
your
Jones.
one-sentence review.
Robert De Niro, just retire.
Okay. Really?
What movies have you, like, I think Grudge Match looked okay, but Robert De Niro has been in real complete garbage lately.
That's true. However, his acting in this movie was very good.
No, his acting is always really good. He's just in really bad movies.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know how or why it keeps happening, but it does.
Yeah. All right, so...
Oh, wait, I know how. Money.
My one-sentence review is a movie that could have been fantastic. However, it was bogged down because it didn't know what it wanted to be.
Exactly. The movie tried to be funny, it tried to be drama, it tried to be almost dark humor-esque, and it just kind of failed at all of them.
The end of the movie...
Meta.
The end of the movie was so over-the-top dramatic, it was hilarious.
You mean with the shootout?
No. I mean, that was directed really well. It was done very well, that fight scene or whatnot. It was good. However, I'm talking about when the dude was chasing the girl down the street and then he got hit by the car, and then all of a sudden you get a shot of the girl with the street behind her and she goes like, and she like hits the ground and goes like, and she's like dressed in white in the middle of a black road. And she's just crying there and like with both her hands on the ground, like, oh, it's just like drama.
Okay, can I also say one of the hitmen was killed by a dog?
Yes, he was.
Man, that was stupid.
It was stupid, yes. I mean, like I said, this movie, there were some parts that were great, and it would have been great if it stuck to just trying to be one type of movie.
Yeah.
But
like, I think it almost like by showing every single family member going through something unique, I think actually was its biggest downfall. I think if it just concentrated on one or two, it would have been much better.
That's true. However,
like there was no need for each one of like the family members to do something.
Though I do think that if they would have kept all of the family members along the same tangent, like have them all be sort of the same type of people, not the same person, but the same type, which would make sense given that they're a mob family.
Right.
It would have made sense. But the kid got scared when he went in front of the teacher's board or whatever it was. He got scared and then he was like, I'm going to run away. That's not what a mobster would have done. A mobster would have gone over and like tried to outwit them or attack them or whatever. There's also the time when the girl was made to be a badass or whatever, but then all of a sudden she's going to kill herself. It just doesn't make sense for the characters to do stuff like that.
Right. And like you could have probably gotten rid of what was her name? Bella?
Who, the girl?
Yeah. Beale? How do you say her name?
Something like that.
Yeah. You probably could have gotten rid of her story altogether.
Well, yeah, it's true. And that goes to show like how not good the writing is in reference to her character.
Oh, I'm going to fall in love with you. Oh, you broke up with me? I'm going to go kill myself. Oh, look at that. I see people I'm going to stop. I'm not going to kill myself anymore. Instead, I'm going to go save peeps.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it was coincidental and really, really bad.
It was really coincidental, especially that one part where the newspaper got all the way to the cell of the dude, the specific dude that could find them. Yeah. That was like the biggest Deus Ex Machina that I've seen in modern movie.
Director's coincidence.
Yeah, it was so crazy.
It was so stupid. It was like, it's like they wrote half a movie and they're like, oh shit, we need another half of the movie. What can possibly happen?
Oh my God.
It was really bad. And also, Goodfellas was on the screen and I was like, I wish I just saw Goodfellas again.
That's true. Yeah.
Like, I really like the huge meta thing of like Robert De Niro playing an ex-gangster, like after he's been in all these gangster movies. And I wish they was stuck with that. They went full meta.
Him writing his own story and all that type of jazz.
Exactly.
Right.
That would have been pretty great. But instead, they ruined it.
Yeah.
All right. Is there anything else you'd like to say about this movie?
I don't know. It was just such a...
bad movie?
It was such a... It was Like
It just felt like a bad movie. That I think that's like one of the most telling parts. There's the Insidious type of bad movie, kind of like Amazing Spider-Man 1, which doesn't feel like a bad movie, but to me it was just a bad movie, you
right.
know?
Yeah.
While like this movie just felt like a bad movie.
It did.
Like you could start like picking it apart, but just the general feeling was I am not enjoying this. I couldn't tell you why I'm not enjoying this. I just know it's bad.
Right, yeah.
You know
Like
what I mean?
the cinematography was very good in a lot of parts. The budget
Right.
was obviously very high and they had some really good production value. The sets were really pretty. The way that the camera moved was done very well. It was stuff like that, but it was just squandered. The gifts were squandered.
Kind of reminded me in a couple parts of. I'm just gonna pick this movie because it's just most recent in my mind. But Heaven is for Real.
Mm.
Just some of those parts of that movie were just so bad.
Yep.
Like so hilariously bad.
Yep.
You're like, oh man.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I guess we're
right.
done. Yeah, if you want to watch a random movie, watch it. But apart from that, there's really no watching value in it.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of garbage.
So what score would you give it? I think I would stick with like the 30%.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, moving on to new on DVD and Blu-ray in theaters. First off, with DVD and Blu-ray, we have Veronica Mars.
Yeah.
The Art of the Steel, Simon and the Oaks, After Dark, Sugar, Brightest Star, Awful Nice, and Still Mine. Out of all of those, I am actually really interested in After the Dark, which is a story, if I'm not mistaken, about this philosophy professor or something, that he gives his students this thing where they have to choose a group of people to restart the Earth after it's gone or something like that. Like if there's an apocalypse, they had to reboot mankind. And he basically locks them up, and then you see like the craziness that ensues with all of them trying to restart the Earth, so they go crazy.
Sounds pretty interesting.
Yeah, it was a really cool idea, and I was like, I should probably put that on my to find list at some point.
No, it sounds like a really interesting meta movie. Low budget, but nice. New to movie theaters, we have
Neighbors, Chef, Mom's Night Out, or Mom's Night Out. I found out that the apostrophe is not like MOM''S. It's MOMS''. So it's like Mom's Night Out.
No, it's like multiple moms.
Yeah. God's Pocket in limited release, and then all of these from this on are going to be limited. The Double, Palo, Alto, and Fed Up. So as you all know,
Neighbors.
Yeah, Neighbors is going to be the one that we're going to watch.
Yeah, I love Seth Rogen, so.
Hey, Zac Efron, you want to get high?
You want to smoke a bowl with my baby?
Oh my God, that's exactly what it's going to be like. So yes, anyway, moving on. Moving on to news. We have the Power Rangers movie, which is... Exactly.
Play the music. Can you cut the music in?
Go, go, Power Rangers! Go, go, Power Rangers!
Wow.
Fuck, man. Fuck. Fucking awesome.
I'm glad that you made up for the lack of cursing throughout the entire podcast right now.
Dude, I used to play the Power Rangers SNES game all the time, even though it was kind of garbage.
It was garbage, yeah.
Just, well, there's two of them. One of them was really, really bad. I had the beat 'em up, like the side-scrolling beat 'em up one, which also had a fighting mode that was just horrific.
Right.
Where you'd be in the Zoid. But I beat that game so many times. So many times.
Well,
dun, 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 dun.
I'm interested in seeing where it goes and
Right.
if they're able to make it insane. Because I think if they go full Pacific Rim with it,
man, that'd be awesome.
It would be great. It would be fantastic.
Also, this is going to be a reboot, so it's going to be everything about the first like Power Rangers that we loved. So it's going to be a bunch of kids who probably find these things, and then they learn that they're Rangers, and they have to go fight the putties.
Yep.
And then, yeah, Bryan Cranston dresses up as a villain, and they kick his ass. and he explodes in sparks that are actually on the ground.
This was not a natural disaster.
Just call me Heisenberg.
He's like in the giant robot, and you hear him say my name.
I'm the one who knocks.
And he punches them in the face. Yeah, that would be a fantastic movie.
Man, I'd watch that. So, what did you think of the old Power Ranger movies? Like, the first one was pretty okay.
It was. All of the other ones were just Godzilla fodder. Like, the Power Rangers like, Power Rangers, and then fighting a giant monster. That's basically...
Turbo was pretty terrible.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, the second... There's only 2 of them.
Well, I'm just saying, like, all of the made-for-TV movies and all of the actual movies, they were all basically Godzilla fodder.
Except for the one where they're like, all the Red Rangers from every single series comes together.
Right.
That was freaking awesome.
Right.
Yeah, man.
Good times.
Yep. Power Rangers. All right, next.
All right, so next is Dredd 2.
What? Really? You bastard. Don't you dare tease me like that.
No, but really, it's Dredd 2.
Really? Why?
Well,
They've flopped so hard.
No. It's because that there's already the point is that there's already conversations going on about Dredd 2. They don't have a script, but they're saying that basically Dredd 2 depends on if they can secure at least a little bit of funding, but that they are having some serious conversations about a second Dredd.
If it was anything like the first one, I would be highly interested.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
But the thing is, you got to keep in mind that these are things that they're working on currently, but that people shouldn't get too excited because obviously it depends on money. Last time they didn't have studio backing, and this time they probably won't either.
Right.
All right. So anyway, moving on, we have Matt Smith, the old doctor from Doctor Who, is going to be in the new Terminator.
Who cares?
Well, he's a good actor, so I mean that's kind of cool.
Okay.
I think it's going to be the new Terminator trilogy.
I think it's just cool that there's going to be new Terminators.
Yeah.
I don't know who Matt Smith is, so.
Oh, you know?
Doctor Who.
Have you watched any of the most recent episodes of Doctor Who?
Nope.
No, really.
Yeah.
Well, he's the Doctor. Anyway,
okay, thanks.
he's a good actor. So also we have the fact that the new Man of Steel movie, the sequel, so Batman versus Superman or whatever it's going to be called, is vying against Captain America for the May 2016 date, like the release date. So they're like sort of fighting for it because Marvel wants to siphon off as much money from the new sequel as possible.
Choose your allegiance.
Yeah, exactly. It's basically choose your allegiance kind of thing. Precisely. Yes. Next bit of news is Emma Stone and Joaquin Phoenix will be in the next Woody Allen film. It's as of yet untitled, but they have basically already been cast. So
nice.
That'll be interesting, and it seems like it's going to be another star-studded movie from Woody Allen.
I have director set for Insidious Chapter 3.
Oh, no.
So Insidious 3 will be coming out.
Why do these people feel like they have to just run horror movies into the ground?
I feel Insidious 1 was pretty good. I never saw Insidious 2, but I'm tempted to watch it on Netflix. Like every time I boot up Netflix. So I mean, there's definitely interest, right? Like, I just wonder what in the world it would be like if it does like Paranormal Activity route of just like coming up with like maybe it's new people in a new place and a new story. I can almost see it working, but I think it's just gonna continue the story, right?
Yeah, probably.
With Darth Maul.
With Darth Maul and robot legs.
Yep.
Exactly. Speaking of Darth Maul and robot legs, supposedly, this is a big rumor, supposedly, Star Wars Episode 7 has a working title, meaning the title can change, but this is the current title. It is called Star Wars Episode 7, The Ancient Fear.
Ancient Fear?
Yep. Isn't that
terrible?
Awful?
That's awful. That's the worst. Ancient Fear?
Right? They could come up with something so much better than that.
Yeah, that's awful.
Yep.
All right. I have a weird piece of news.
Okay.
So real-life Bernie released from prison, provided he moves in with the director of the Bernie movie, Richard Linklater.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Isn't he the murderer guy?
Right. So Bernie Tiede, which the Jack Black had a movie where he portrayed him.
Right.
Essentially went crazy and killed his sugar mama / wife with an axe, and then he went to jail. And now reports that the former funeral director who shot and killed his elderly benefactor, so not with an axe, with a gun,
right,
will move into the apartment above Linklater's garage.
Wow.
Which is weird. Really, really weird.
And he's probably going to end up making a documentary about him or something.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, he has him right there. That's perfect. Intercut like a documentary with, I
Just
suppose,
start
making of footage from the movie with Jack Black, and you have yourself a documentary.
just start like a sitcom or something.
Oh my
Yo,
god.
Tiede, did you murder anybody today? Not yet, honey bunny.
That would be
Bazinga.
that would be awful.
Yeah.
Who lives above my garage? A murderer, ba-boom, a murderer, ba-boom. And then it starts.
Such former funeral director. Guess what I do? I'm a director of movies.
He was a funeral director, then he went to jail, but now he's out and they're best friends. Oh yeah.
That's pretty much what happened, though.
Well, right, yeah.
Yeah. So.
That seems like a really crappy 80s sitcom.
So an 80s sitcom.
Yeah, so an 80s sitcom, exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway, any more news from your end?
My butt hurts.
Okay, so I think that about wraps up our podcast.
All right.
So thank you all for listening. I'm Cool Guys, the Cognitive Gamer. You can follow me on Twitter at The Right Pad. You can follow
The
him.
right pad, WRITEPAD.
Nice. You can follow him at Cognitive Gamer.
COGNITIVEGAMER.
I was doubting whether you were going to be able to finish that. Did you? I sensed some hesitation.
That was tough. That was a tough one. How to spell cognitive.
I mean, you should know now.
NITIVE gamer.
Yeah. You should know, considering the fact that you're currently getting a master's in that garbage.
Still can't spell it.
It's like paraplegia when you
You know
can
what
spell
a really
that.
hard word to spell is? Consciousness.
Spell it.
I can't.
Do it. Do it right now.
Nope.
The world is watching.
No. So, did you know there's a director set for Insidious 3?
Anyway, thank you all for watching. You can check out old episodes of our podcast on YouTube. You can also click on the actual description of said episodes and you will jump back and forward to all of the important bits. You can also check out all of our other videos on there, which is all gaming related and science and all that fun stuff. You can also check out our Facebook page by searching PostGrad Entertainment or PostGrad ENT, facebook.com/PostGradENT. And you can also email us at postgradentertainment@gmail.com. Please email us and contact us in any way, whether it is email, Facebook, or Twitter, to give us what you think we should watch for our Netflix movie. Because
tweet, motherfucker.
we do like take your suggestions into consideration, and a couple people have already given us stuff that we should do and all that jazz for the podcast, and it's worked out pretty well. So we try and include it as much as possible, and we love talking to you guys. Also, check out vpogames.com. They are our awesome sponsors, and we have a ton of fun playing League of Legends with them, or at least Cognitive Gamer does. I don't play League of Legends because I'm not a nerd. So,
whoa, hey there. Hey there, ho there.
Says the person who played D&D through Skype. So, yes, we are good for that.
Your own dice?
I have my own dice.
Ah, you nerd.
Dude, my dice are awesome. Anyway.
Oh man.
Anyway, thank you all for tuning in, and we will catch you next time.
Bye.